Sucking on my own dick. Yeah, you know I'm sucking on my own dick. Sucking on my dick. Everybody's sucking their own dicks. Sucking on our own dicks. Everybody's sucking their own dicks. Sucking on our dicks. Yeah, you know I'm sucking on my dicks.
Hey, we are here with Sean Preston from the new podcast Night Moves.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hell yeah, dude. This is so funny to me because I've been listening to the podcast. I've been listening to it since you were doing it with Lemaire.
Oh, damn. I
don't know if we ever talked about that.
I'm always upset when I hear that.
A lot of the original Coward Hour had some like diehard followers.
Yeah, and it was like only you guys. It was like you two.
And also, dude, there was one dude who was very unhappy when the format switched. 'Cause I remember, like, early on when we started doing it together, there was a guy who was excited that Coward Hour was back, and then, like, within 2 episodes, he had made, like, an infographic connecting me to, like, Nazis. Do you remember that?
Doesn't take long.
No, it didn't at all.
Yeah, it's really just two dots connected. But yeah, no. When I say that, I'm embarrassed about that. It has nothing to do with Lemaire, who I think is very funny and great on podcasts. But I was like in just an immense mental spiral the entire time.
Yeah, aren't we all though?
Yeah, but like, I mean, this. Here's the thing. This podcast is also a big spiral, but this is like a cleaned up, presentable spiral.
This is a controlled burn.
Yeah.
It's like, yes,
it's like
we're
the Native
setting the
Americans
forest on fire.
Yeah.
Well, it's really funny to me because I know you guys don't edit, but I just always assumed you edited in the music. But you guys actually sit through it, like you press a button.
Yeah. We sit here, we listen to it every time.
Yep.
Damn, that's awesome.
There's a strict no edit policy. I'll be honest, sometimes I edit. sometimes if the episode goes up late enough, I will edit. I will edit behind Brendan's back.
Yeah. Nick, which just means that Nick downloads it from iTunes like the rest of you, edits it in Audacity, and then puts it back up before I wake up.
That's
which
right.
I'm not against editing. I just won't do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
To the point that I'll like dox people or like say something racist, and I'll be like, "Fuck, I really shouldn't have said that." And then I'll think about it, and I'll be like, "Well, there's nothing that can be done."
There's not a single thing that can be done.
You're like, the rest of the episode was pretty good, so I guess I can live with people hearing me say the K word.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For real. That's really what happens.
That's kind of where me and Lou are at, because it's also. So we've been recording since December, but we are never going to release the 10 episodes we did leading up to the first one.
We did the same thing. That's smart.
Yeah. Lou was also a fucking giant mess for a minute. So we'd record, and then he'd be like, I'd be texting him, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm at this, I'm out with," I think we talked about it on the podcast. If not, we will. But like, there's one point, he didn't drink for like a month. He was doing super well. And then I was texting him, and I was like, "So you ready for Wednesday?" And he's just like, "Yeah, dude." And I was like, "Oh, so what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm at buying drugs with some friends." And I was like, "Just because you've been sober a month doesn't mean you can just start doing cocaine again." He's like, "Dude, we're not doing cocaine. We're doing ketamine." I'm like, "That's not a treat. You don't just get to be sober for a month. Be like, well, I might as well treat myself to some horse drugs now."
Oh, wait, hang on.
That's not how that works.
But isn't that the patented Sean Preston 12-step program? You're sober for a month, and then you fly to California to relapse with your 3 best friends?
First of all, that's the thing. I've been waiting for you guys to have me on because of probably you guys mention me every now and then. I remember the one time we talked about going to Joshua Tree. Like, Sean flew to Joshua Tree specifically to relapse. I'm like, first of all, I'd relapsed months before we went.
Okay, fair.
I was sober for like a year and a half, though. Mm-hmm. It was a while.
And then you were like, "Nah, being sober is fake."
No, it wasn't. I don't know. It's weird now because Lou is now getting sober. And it's great. Like, I'm super supportive.
Except for
like,
cocaine, right?
for everything. He's stone cold sober now.
I
was like,
interesting.
Yeah, okay, go on.
I thought for sure he was going to do like the Nick Mullen version of sober, where just
where
like
he just
you just
I
don't
thought so,
drink.
too. He's been doing great, but it's weird because like I like suggested him a couple like rooms I used to go to, and like texted AA people I haven't talked to in 3 years, being like, yo, I'm fine, but my buddy's going to be coming through soon. Show him a great time. But it's, I don't know. It's good. The only reason I stopped was because like, especially going to like AA meetings and stuff like that. I mean, first of all, I kind of got sober because like my girlfriend at the time got mad at me. It wasn't something I like specifically wanted to do. I'm glad I did it because I kind of realized like, oh, like I can, like I appreciated being sober, right? But like, you hit a point where
I don't
like,
understand that because being sober fucking sucks ass.
see, that's the thing. I think there is like there's a big difference between like
if you're like not wired like an addict where you can like stop and start again, you're like, yeah, I really enjoyed that time being sober. But if you're like me where you're like wired where like it is not a choice in any way for you, it fucking sucks.
See, the reason I started again was because I would hear this all the time. I don't know if you feel this way, but they're like, I'm like scared of drinking again. And I was like, I'm not really scared of drinking again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And ever since once I started again, I was fine. Been all right.
You're better than ever before. Fun Sean is back.
Literally, Fun Sean's back.
Dude,
you know,
Fun Sean,
when I was sober, I was in a weird fucking. I was getting back into sneakers. I grew my hair out. It was a fucking weird time for me, dude.
I remember that.
It was so.
I remember looking over at you with like bleach blonde hair, wearing like a silver shirt in the desert. I'm like, all right, Sean's.
Well, Sean was bleaching his hair. Bleach blonde hair is all. I mean, that's just Sean is in a constant state of potentially bleaching his hair.
Yeah, I'm too old now.
Dude, I remember. I mean, again, and drunk Sean, sober Sean was great. Drunk Sean, it's not like there weren't problems. Drunk Sean was just up for anything. Like Sean, I will never ever forget. I've told the story before. The night when we went to Button Mash, and you just kept getting drinks and leave it. You would leave them like 10 feet away from you. You'll be like, that drink's fine. Nobody's gonna. I was like, what if somebody roofies you? You're like, I'm a guy. Nobody's gonna roofie me. I'm like, I think they're just gonna see a drink and take their chance. I think that they cast a wide net rapists.
Lo and behold,
you got fucking roofied.
Dude had bad roofies too. Because like I think what actually happened though is I think a guy tried to roofie a girl and we because they have those cups, like the cup holders next to.
And you were drinking loose drinks that women had.
Sean, that is absolutely what nobody was trying.
That's the secret. You want to get some. You want to get some free roofies. You just start drinking women's drinks.
Yeah, I mean, I should do that.
That's kind of the move for you, pal.
I know, yeah. Just like maybe there'll be some.
I'm not going to go out of my way
Molly.
to do drugs, but if I accidentally do drugs at the arcade, then literally couldn't be better circumstances for Nick Oldershaw. Honestly,
I mean, the iconic Sean Preston memory is you standing in our driveway in South Central, smoking cigarettes in your underwear while I cooked a wet burrito for you in the microwave. And then I had to cut it up for you, which was, and honestly, I was pissed. And then in the morning, I was like, that was a good night. That was a nice night.
Maybe I should get roofied.
That was funny. 2 reasons. Because one, well, I got roofied. Like it's accidental roofie. Like, and you know, the bad thing doesn't happen. That's like a fun memory with your friends.
It's GHB,
second,
GBA, whatever it is.
It wasn't strong enough. Like, cause like I blacked out I remember about like the Uber driver being like, "Are you going to throw up, pal?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And then throwing up. Then I remember waking up. But no, I remember towards the end of the night. Like I remember being like, "Oh, I'm in my boxers. What's going on?" So I only blacked out for like an hour and a half. Bad roofies.
I don't know if that's that is always fascinating to me because I don't know if it's actually true how it happens, but the way I always remember it is like coming out of a fugue state. Like when the memory starts, it's like I'm like shuddering awake in like a new reality.
Because I think Nick thought I was just too drunk at first. And I was like, dude, I had 4 beers. Like I've never blacked out over 4 beers.
Well, there was also such a turn because we got you like we were done playing arcade games. You're like, I'm going to get the Uber. And I was like, all right. And we got into the Uber. You were, like, genial. You were nice to the Uber driver. And then, like, I looked over at you, like, 5 minutes into the Uber ride, and you looked like you had a concussion. Like, your whole demeanor changed. And that was when the guy asked you if you were going to throw up. And then you said no. And then he looked at me and he said, please don't let your friend throw up. Like, he knew that you were not the party to be contacted at this time.
Damn, that was a great night.
I've been waiting to have you on to talk about my stint with formal sobriety, because you were right. Do you remember in the summer? It was this summer when I did all that acid, and I called you in the morning, and I even talked to Brendan, and I talked to Tom, and I was like, I think I have a serious drug problem. And Sean was kind enough to gently be like, yeah, man, maybe you had a drug problem, maybe you did too much acid this one time, but whatever you feel you need to do. So I started attending Narcotics Anonymous meetings via Zoom in the pandemic, and did 2 of them, and quickly realized, like, not only, like, were my stories, like in a narcotic, and it's already, you're on Zoom, right? But, like, my stories were getting, like, blank stares from these people who had, like, ruined their lives. And I even, like, chatted with one of the guys afterwards, like, after the second one, and I was like, hey, do you think that I need to be in Narcotics Anonymous? And he was like, yeah, I don't really think that you're, he's like, I don't think you need to be attending these meetings.
That's insane. That's insane. I think that is, like, the difference. I've never gone to an NA meeting.
Yeah.
I think the big difference is, like, if you go into an AA meeting, apparently they're way different in California. Like, the nice suburban ones where it's all, like, cops and firefighters. Right. You go in, you're like, I drink 2 beers 5 days a week, and I just feel like I'm losing control of my life. They're like, come on in, brother. And then a guy will be like, yeah, I killed my daughter in a drunk driving accident. And everybody's just, like, chilling. Like, people meditate. Like, the chair will usually like be napping. You tell your story, and then, like, I remember one time I told my story, like, because the reason I got sober was, like, I did cocaine with Lou when I wasn't supposed to do cocaine anymore. Mm-hmm. And I told the story, and, like, the next guy who spoke was, like, in his 50s. He's like, I didn't think I had it that bad either at first. Like, I never said that. I told you the story that got me sober, and he was just like, you know what? It's not all killing your daughter. Sometimes it's just feeling a little uncomfortable about the way your life's going.
It is tough because there is, like, it's how my brain is ruined, so I relate everything to open mics. But it's kind of like how it's impossible to be, like, the worst guy at an open mic. So you go and you see, like, a hopeless loser, and you're like, maybe I'm doing, like, really good.
Right.
Maybe I'm, like, the funniest guy ever. And you can trick yourself into be like,
open mics.
Maybe I'm not an alcoholic at all, because, like, I'm not like these losers.
Well, no, I mean, like, I would say, like, the most embarrassing thing about attending Zoom NA meetings is that nobody else is talking about doing acid.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Nick, it's like going to an AA meeting talking about drinking too many Zimas.
That's exactly.
I was hopelessly, I would wake up and I'd have a Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
People would be like, that sounds like it's bad for your body, not so much the rest of your life.
Because the awkward thing is, like, people are, like, without doxing too much information, the 2 NA meetings I attended, people were talking about, like, ruining their lives on heroin, smoking meth, and the stories are all, like, they're all external things bad that happened to these people, right? Like real world consequences. They wound up in places they shouldn't have been. They lost money. They damaged relationships. And I'm just, like, kind of explaining what was going on in my mind for 8 hours and, like, trying to explain why that's so traumatic. Yeah. And I was very immediately like, this was a mistake. I was like, I shouldn't have offered myself to speak. I should have just listened. This was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. The thing is, Nick, I think that you are you are or have been. I don't want to speak for you, but, like, addicted to acid. I just think that no one else in the history of the world ever has. So you're not gonna find, like maybe you need to go to, like, specifically, like, Christian teen NA where they're, like, all talking about how weed ruined their, like, senior year.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, you can, like, me and Tom would talk about it all the time when I wasn't drinking, because it's like you'd go to these meetings or whatever, and they'd be like, alcohol is terrible, or like they say it's a disease, or an allergy, a lot of people say, or whatever, and
Interesting.
and nobody ever talks about how it fucking rules.
It rules.
It's
right?
so much fun. Tom is the best person to go out with, because he would drive me to the bar all the time. Like, some of my friends would be like, is he like allowed to do that? I'm like, Tom wants to be there. There's been times I've been sitting at the bar where I'd be like, I kind of want to get one more, but I feel like we should go. And Tom's like, get one more.
It's why, the way, like, Brendan and I, like, back, like, before everything got crazy, we would, like, chow down with Tom a couple times, and just, like, looking at, when Tom makes you food, if you just, like, look at the sheer amount of nachos and chicken tenders that he prepares, you're like, I can see how you were an alcoholic. Like, if this was beer, like, holy shit, dude.
That's also, like, yeah, that's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, he'll use like both racks in the oven to make, entire trays of nachos.
Also, he loves hanging out in bars. Like, him and I were just going to pool halls for a while.
I remember him telling me that.
Yeah.
We went to one of the ones you guys went to in Glendale.
It was sick. We'd go drink sodas. We'd drink a bunch of sodas like we were little kids at a bowling alley.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
I think we were both single at the time, so then we would also just like, we'd just be like talking about women who are across the bar and never approaching them.
Oh, dude. Tom and I went to Korean barbecue one time, and the way Tom gets bold with waitresses, unbelievable.
But it's always appropriate somehow.
He
never crosses a line.
Yeah.
Ever.
He never, he'll like consent his way all the way up to the line and then get the okay to put a foot over. Like, he literally said something. He like asked this girl if she wanted to come back and take a nap at his apartment with us. And she loved it. She was like, how are my boys doing every time she came back?
Did I ever tell you guys the story
I feel like
about
if anyone else but
this?
Sorry. I was just saying if
No.
If you told me that story about anyone else but Tom, I'd be like, that she was pretending for the tip. But because it's Tom, I'm like, no, that woman had a great day.
Dude, she was giggling, she was tittering over to us, she was checking on us a lot.
Tom has a really amazing gift of making anybody he speaks to feel special and amazing, and because he truly feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you guys the story? We might have talked about it in Joshua Tree. When he was still drinking, when me and him were living in New York, his roommates had an art show at NYU, and we were both poor as fuck. And he was like, "Yo, there's free booze here. Get down to the Lower East Side right now." And I was like, "I'm there."
Nice.
So I get there. Tom meets me outside, and Tom, when he was drinking, you would never know how drunk he was. He always kept it together. I get up there. Tom's like smoking a cigarette backwards. He's like,
yeah, that's exactly it.
So we go upstairs. We're looking at his roommate was just taking pictures of women pissing. So like girls squatting like in public and pissing. So I was like,
this was the art
a waste
show?
of time. This was the art show. There's a bunch of pictures of like girls pissing. There's one art installation, and it was a girl who cut up the American flag. Crazy, right?
I'm so glad I don't have to pretend to like shit like this anymore.
Exactly.
This is a very like 2012, 2013 exhibit.
Exactly. Nailed it. That's the year it was. So I tried to get a drink, and I'm like, "Yo, where's the drinks?" And Tom's like, "There's no more drinks." And I was like, "All right." So I'm just here. And there's this like beautiful, like Kennedy looking girl, like walking around, like Tom's height, blonde, like gorgeous. And no one's talking to this girl. Like, she looks like she comes from a lot of money. And Tom's just like, "That girl's so pretty." And we're like, "Yeah." And we know Tom's a little drunk. He walks up to this girl, and we're like, "Oh, no, Tom. And he puts his hand on her shoulder, and he goes, "I don't mean to bother you, miss, but you're lovely." And the look on her face, she just relaxed, and she was like, "Thank you." And he's like, "My name's Tom. I just wanted to introduce myself." She's like, "Okay. Hi, I'm Brittany." And they like talked for like 20 minutes. We come back, we're like, did you get her number? And he's like, nah, she's married to a veteran. That's why she cut up that flag over there. I was like,
damn.
It was incredible. Like, all of us could not believe it. We're like, that was the smoothest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a smooth. Tom is a big cuddly Chad, dude. He's a smooth operator. Tom's always working the angles.
Oh,
Dude, oh man, you're reminding me of being intimidated by rich hot girls. Do you remember? I don't know if it was right when you moved out here. Do you remember that fucking fashion show we went to in the Arts District?
Oh boy, that's one of my most cherished memories of LA.
Do you remember though? Because fucking Emmy Rossum was there. We like saw her like standing in line trying to get pizza or something. Do you remember? There was a dollar bill that was on the ground. Also, you had dressed me. I was wearing a wardrobe entirely curated by you.
You're wearing
Nick has
bracelets.
so many stories that start with Sean put an outfit on me.
Oh God, that's right. I was wearing bracelets.
Yeah.
And I think they were my ex-girlfriend's bracelets. I think I was still wearing those fucking bracelets. Just, I don't know what I was doing. But there was...
Wait, were they women's
so,
bracelets, or were they like men's bracelets she gave you?
No, they were like little... You get them at fucking gas stations. They're these little bracelets. I can't... They look like they had little dinosaurs on them. There's no way of knowing what it is. But... And I was wearing them. I was wearing like 3 of them on a wrist. But I looked good.
This is a barn dog story. So I was wearing bracelets.
Nick
I was wearing bracelets. It wasn't
Nick
a bar. It
looked
was
exactly like, like he looked like he should have been there, but it's also like, in a video game, like in Skyrim, if you play as like the lizard guy, but you have to like disguise yourself to get into like a certain guild. Mm-hmm. And it's like very clear that you're a lizard person wearing like a specific robe, but they're like, all right. It doesn't look quite right, but you look like you should be here, maybe.
Yeah.
It's the bare minimum uniform to get in.
Exactly.
Right. So there was...
But the coating only checks the hat or something.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
You just need the cloak or whatever. So it's like it's everybody there looks like fucking Mad Max on HRT. Like, it was a very weird fashion show. But there was like live music, and it was just like rich hot girls everywhere. And in the center, somebody dropped a dollar bill. Okay? Now, if you're at a high-end fashion show full of... Nope, you can't be the only one bending down to pick up that dollar bill off the ground. But, like... I had a very public debate with myself whether or not I should get the dollar bill, and then I leaned down.
About this.
Yeah, I leaned down in front of like this group of really hot women to take the dollar bill off the ground and put it in my pocket, and they were like laughing at me, and I was like, I mean, I guess I found it, and then and I was like, dude, it was the fucking
dude. That was such a fun night. Do you remember? You and I got like a little drunk. And
yeah, I got really drunk.
It was the dumbest fashion show too. Cause you forget that like fashion shows aren't all just like Gucci and Versace. It's like art school kids doing it too. So the one we were watching, I don't know. They were like wearing fucking, like tattered linen and stuff, but they had these backpacks that were like the skeleton, like the plastic skeletons you get like for Halloween, but they wrapped them up like backpacks. And so they were wearing these backpacks and like, they're just like Silver Lake dick bags, like walking up and down this runway. And like you and I look at each other and we go, ooh, spooky. And this guy looked behind us and he like glared at us like we weren't taking this seriously.
It was that guy was so fucking mad at us.
So pissed.
I forgot.
It was awesome. We like made eye contact. We're like, ooh.
Well, in your defense, skeletons are very spooky.
If you don't want me to get spooked at the fashion show, don't make it so goddamn spooky, fella.
Oh, what?
I would love like they come out and you just instantly like fully scream.
Well, so and then like the thing that like grossed me out the most was like at the beginning of the night they had all these fish tanks that were filled with like jewelry, like like jewel encrusted gold rings and bracelets and stuff, and they had live snakes. They had live snakes in all the fish tanks.
I hated that,
dude. But within an hour, all of the jewels and diamonds were covered in snake piss and shit. Like it looked hilarious. There were just like diamonds covered in like this gross like yellow film. There were these long turds strewn around the bracelets and shit.
And then
Very, very
that they were like,
show.
yeah, we meant for that to happen.
Yeah,
that wasn't just a consequence of our ignorance.
It's
here.
actually
It was,
commentary.
Right.
Yeah. That the lizard
that shit was
people are
fun.
shitting.
Yeah. It's actually symbolism, that very smart thing that every 16-year-old learns about.
Yeah. Yeah, this actually represents all the lizards in Hollywood shitting on the common folk, the working class.
I mean, this is where maybe I'm retarded. Like maybe there's a part of fashion I don't get, but like, every single person that we saw walk down the runway, they were all wearing like weird Dr. Seuss, Tim Burton fucking hoods with like, you're right, tattered sleeves and buckles on it and shit. And it's like, it's not like I saw that shit hanging up at Kohl's, within the next 3 months. I don't understand the basic conceit of like fashion design and fashion clothes. I guess I'm not supposed to.
I appreciate it somewhat. Like, the point of it is it's art. It's not supposed to evolve into like anything that you would sell at all. But like, also just wink at me while you're doing it. Like, can't we smile and be like,
right?
Like we can both appreciate it as an art form and also be like, but this is pretty goofy, huh? We're having fun.
Yeah.
Look, it's a skeleton backpack.
That's all fashion shows. Like they try to make the hottest people in the world look as retarded as possible.
Yeah.
Without anybody laughing.
But
without like
why is that worth billions of, I guess that's what I'm understanding. Is like, why the hell are these people like millionaires and billionaires? If it should be like, look at this retarded shit I made in my basement. It should be the same. Like if they acted like furries, I would think I would have more endearment towards them.
Well, I feel like
that's the art. It's walking that line between like, if we make Kylie Jenner laugh, then we failed. But if we like kind of see on her face, she's like, I kind of don't get this. That's what they're going for.
Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of that stuff is done by people who they're doing it because they're already billionaires or like married to a billionaire. It's not like they made $1 billion making somebody wear like the sumo suit from like post prom. They're like, yeah, my arms dealer husband lets me have fun. So
right. So that's
imagine
why
being so rich. That's what you do with your time. You're like, I'm so rich. I'm just going to make a bunch of hot dudes dress up like they're pizza boxes.
Yeah.
That's the kind of money and power I have.
Yeah, which honestly, like, not the worst thing you can do with your money. If you're going to be like an evil oligarch, I'd rather you do that
than like buy kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's just over my head. I don't know. I mean, I would love to like. I wish I almost wish they would like permeate the mainstream. Like, I'd love to see dudes like rocking like shark skin tuxedos and shit like on their at their wedding. But I don't know. I guess it's just for that night. I guess it's just for the night of shitting snakes.
Have you seen like Off-White? Like the brand Off-White.
No.
Virgil Abloh. So he's like a fashion designer. He makes the absolute ugliest fucking clothes. Like he did a line with Nike, and they're like cool looking sneakers, but like they're like t-shirts that are like $700, and you see like 17-year-olds wearing them now. If you've seen like the
I'm
logo,
looking at them.
Like, yeah, it's absolute horseshit. And so it's like that's kind of as far as like high fashion goes. Like
even in this video, this shit is so fucking retarded. Like one of the things is it's like zooming in. You see this guy's eye like looking through this cut hole of leather, and the camera like zooms all the way out. He just fucking cut a hole. It's a cowboy boot that he cut a hole in.
Yep. That's all it is.
And a raincoat. It looks like he's got a raincoat that has like a gator mask that covers your. I guess that's cool. I don't know if that's cool. See, this shit fucking sucks, dude.
If you go on like the website and you like look at like the t-shirts and pants, they just make you look like a Lego figurine. They're just like very big and tubular.
This shit is just Swiss cheese. He's got this thing. It's literally just a handbag that looks like Swiss cheese.
I want to be all tubes. Sign me up.
Damn, this thing is $2,000.
Yeah, I already have like a very funny silhouette just naturally. I feel like I got to start playing with it.
Well, Crick, you're a when you want to be, you're a terrific dresser. You're like, out of all the comics I've ever met, I would definitely say you are probably one of the best dressed.
Thank you. Well, that
like you have your own unique style. Like when you want to, you do it. Like that suit you wore to the premiere. You looked like $1 million.
Thank you. I did. I had a lot of nice clothes at that weight, and I have not replaced them since ballooning.
Are you doing the same thing? Because, like, dude, this is what's great. Like, Nick, have you put on any weight?
I have. I've put on a little bit of weight. I'm getting. It's great. I'm back to. I've lost 10 pounds, so I'm trying to get back down.
Same. I'm like 185 right now. That's 30 pounds heavier than I've ever been.
Damn, that is heavy. I think the heaviest I was in like the 170s, but I carry it horribly.
I just gained like a ton of weight on SSRIs, and it's a struggle to get it off.
It's losing, dude, because we're getting older. Like, I remember I used to be able to just drop 10 pounds like that if I wanted to. And so
skip lunch.
When I started getting fat over quarantine, like, dude, for the first 6 months of quarantine, I was working out every single day. I was eating great. I wasn't smoking. I would drink like once a week. And then I kept eating like I was going to the gym. And I just like kind of got like a little fat. And I was like, whatever, I'll start running. I started running. I started eating at a deficit, and I was not losing weight. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Ooh.
It's finally happened. I'm 30.
You're 30, dude.
Fuck
I know
me,
it
dude.
blows.
Yeah, the only things I'll allow myself for snacks now are like pistachios, beef jerky, and then like high fiber granola bars in the morning. And then if I'm not eating a meal, I don't eat.
Dude, I miss you just eating a big ass loaf of bread and you telling me that it's okay.
It was okay. It had to be.
Brendan, when I was living with Nick, I would go. So first of all, this is how ridiculous this fucking living situation was. I miss it.
It was
so
ciabatta
much.
bread.
Yeah, you're just eating the meal of like an Italian railroad worker in like the 1800s. They just ring a bell and they give everybody a loaf of bread.
Well, we would have guests over, and I would be like, "Do you guys want some bread?" And then I would cook little ciabatta rolls and butter them and serve them to people like I did them a favor.
I appreciated how okay you were and how confident you were with how your diet was, because I was the only person in the fucking house. I lived in the goddamn hallway in between the living room and the kitchen. That was where I lived. I was the only one with the job.
It wasn't even it wasn't even a hallway, man.
It was just a space.
It was a space, yeah.
It was borderline the kitchen.
It was my head was in the kitchen and my feet were in the living room when I went to bed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was me and Tim were the only one with like jobs. And I was the only one that went food shopping. So I'd bring Nick food shopping with me. Yep. And I'd be like, Nick, because I was working in Venice, so I was making like really good money. And I was like, Nick, go buy yourself some fucking treats, dude. Yeah. Like, I don't get, like, buy yourself some treats. And you're like, no. I couldn't. And we'd get to the bread and he would pick up a loaf of ciabatta bread. And I'd be like, I'll buy that for you. And he'd be like, no, I'm going to steal it. Don't worry about that. So he'd like stuff like a loaf of ciabatta bread down his thigh. He'd get to the car, he'd pull it out, and he would start eating it like it was a burrito.
Yeah.
Like, he would unwrap the top and just pull it out of the plastic little by little and eating it. And he's like, see, Sean, these are all the calories I need for like 3 or 4 days.
I thought you just needed calories.
That's the kind of shoplifting you do. Where like,
and
like
every single time I would tell him that, you'd be like, Sean, fucking shut up. You drink 6 Tecates every night. I'm like, yeah, but like, you got to believe me here, dude. Like, I'm still getting some vitamins sometimes.
Yeah, dude. I was just eating. I was like eating ciabatta bread like it was an ear of corn. It was really fucking gross.
Confidently in front of people, you'd have guests over, and
dude.
in front of nibbling on your bread like a fucking like a horse, like a little baby pony. Just.
Do you remember? I was like, was this after you left when I was dating that chick from USC? Did you ever meet her?
No,
it was after you left? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little bit after I left.
She would come over and we'd watch like movies on that illegal thing that Tim had to just like pirate movies, and I would just like go and get my ciabatta bread and just like eat it with both hands while she's sitting on the couch. and like it's like I would offer her some, but like I've got to make this. This is for the week.
Like, I can't be... See, yeah, that's what's that's a thing. Like, I feel like you get shit on all the time for like being homeless or fucking whatever. But like in Los Angeles, how many fucking comedians have you met that are like, yeah, I drive for Lyft and that's how I make a living? It's like, no, you live in Silver Lake, so your parents pay your rent. Right. And your Lyft money is just your Coke money. That's all it is.
Right.
Like that's your fun money. You're not giving this a full go.
Oh,
you are the only person who went with no help, no money, and just be like, well, I live in my car. I'm actually more comfortable that way. It's actually a more efficient way.
To be fair, Nick did steal money from us.
What?
I said, to be fair, Nick did steal money from us that he paid back.
I stole money. I was late with rent. I was late with rent. That's
I will get that. Nick does pay it back. When we went to Joshua Tree, and I was just like, yo, remember when I paid your phone bill and you never paid me back? And you're like you almost dropped your phone pulling your phone out of your pocket. Like,
no, Nick made everything right. I want to say I'm sorry that I was razzing you about that. But
it's like asking a farmer for chickens when he hasn't been. It's like it's like asking for crops when it's winter. It's like let me explain. I'm a generous guy, okay? But you've got to wait for the crops to grow. And then I give them away. I go to the farmer's market. I don't even ask people for anything in return. I'm so generous with my money, it's certainly going to drive me back into the poorhouse. Let me tell you, it's really bad.
It's going to be so sick if we, make it big. I would love to see what Millionaire Nick is like.
I would fucking give a lot of it away. I give my money away way too easily. Nobody DM me. I mean, you're right. It wasn't no help. There was a lot of I'll gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today.
There's a huge difference between it's easier to ask money from your parents than it is like your roommate or your friend or something. That takes way more effort because if you get judged by your parents, you don't give a shit. You're like, I need help. They're like, of course you do. You're a comedian living in Los Angeles.
Right.
It takes a lot more. It's so much more nerve wracking to be like, yo, man, I'm kind of short. Do you think you could spot me? And then you pay them. But I commend that a lot more.
I mean, I would always, if I've ever been in trouble with my life, I've always just gone into debt with a bank rather than asking my parents for anything.
That's also true. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, you just look, you enter this. When you're living that out in the reeds, you just enter this place where it's like I would do things, or I would procure. I would get in situations where I had to ask difficult questions, and it was basically like coming out of a fugue state, and suddenly I had money. I was like, damn, I guess I did that. Okay. Like there were so many situations in my life where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go into like low power. It's like when the iPhone battery turns yellow. I just go into like low power mode. 4 hours later, I have money. I'm like, okay, we did it. We get to see another day.
So then those are some of my favorite stories of yours, which stories I've heard once, and I'm sure you will never tell me again.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to save some of them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, dude. It was like, people like, especially when I talk about like living in LA, like I loved it. And I had like living with the boys was probably the best time in my life, in my 20s.
Really quick, do you remember the double? It was horrible. And I don't, in retrospect, I have no idea why it was so bad. I think I was just freaked out because I just broke up. But do you remember the double date that we had, like in the living room? Which is that's a weird place to have a double date.
That wasn't even a double date. That was my friend who moved. Well, she was a friend of mine, but she was
in the past tense. She was a friend of ours. I think we made bad impressions.
I did talk to her kind of recently, but it was weird.
Nice.
Because like she had just moved home and she was like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" And it was like 2 a.m. I'm like, I have a girlfriend. I live in a different. I don't know why you're texting me right now, but I was like, while we're here, I'm sorry for being a jerk that night.
Right? Yeah. I should do that too.
Yeah. You had your girl come over, and then I invited my friend over, and I was like, "Oh, this is bad because she's like, it was like talking about like a dog. It's like, oh, this girl's not good with other girls. Like, this is gonna be a fucking bloodbath. Like, she hasn't like, she was a foster dog. I don't know, like, it's bad.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have gotten along better immediately.
They wound up. What was funny was
they got their nipples pierced the next day.
Yes, they were on each other's Instagram stories after we like kicked them out because I don't know what was going on with me, but that girl was cute, and then she showed up, and my brain did the Anomalisa thing where it's like because she was interested in me, I just saw like fucking Tom Noonan's face and voice, and I
couldn't believe it. I was like, good, like, Nick, this is a really pretty girl, and she seems cool. And you're like, I don't want her here.
I made her leave.
You made her leave.
I didn't. I was like, I do not want this in my house. I don't know what the hell was wrong.
What, a
with
woman
me.
who likes me? Well, clearly she's insane. So
yeah, because Kelly was there too, and Kelly took me aside. Did she hate that girl?
I feel like she was like, she's really pretty, but then like by the end of the night, she's like, these girls have to fucking go.
That's right. Yeah, well, because she like took me into my room and I was like, I want that girl to leave. She's like, why? She's beautiful. And I was like, no, I was like, I don't see it. It was really that happened.
You did say that.
That happened. So, dude, there were so many girls that I brought back to that apartment where I was definitely like punching above my weight. And everybody was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I need all these dogs out of my house.
That's what ended up happening. She got there first before my friend came over, and I was just like, look, I don't want her coming here. She's like kind of fucking crazy. Like she's like, she's great in small doses, but like, I'm really scared she's going to be mean to you or something. They become best friends. And then she's just like, oh yeah, Sean was saying that you're out of your mind and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then she texted me the next day. She's like, never fucking talk to me again. And I was like, look, you're right. Absolutely. I apologize. Look, do you.
Both those girls were right because both those girls didn't realize that they were driving to South Central to enter a den of like just concurrent psychotic breaks. Just like 4 people who had moved to California with no plan, who were really freaking out. It was a really bad hang.
Nick, I have a theory.
God. What's your theory?
I don't think that this is it, but the way that you look at attractive women, it's the same as a guy who has like trained himself to only like be attracted to anime. So it's like you show him a 10 and he's like, it's not quite, it's fine.
Well, I mean, I look at it this way. It's like the minute you've had good New York pizza, you hate pizza everywhere else. Does that make sense? I mean,
Nick, the famous saying is that sex is like pizza. It's always pretty good.
No, but it's not like New York pizza. You get an authentic dollar slice in fucking New York, and then you go to Chicago, and you're like, what the fuck is this deep dish? This is not pizza. I want pizza. Give me pizza.
Soup.
New York pizza in this scenario is like classic East Coast BPD art girl.
Look, you know what? I know
you're
what
like, it's the water, the way they make it. the dough.
Yeah, or it's like having a fucking Philly cheesesteak anywhere outside of Philly. You're like, where are the Omarosa rolls? This is bullshit.
Yeah, then you have a cheesesteak in Philly, and you're like, this sucks, but it feels comfortable.
Also, sex is not like pizza. It's not always pretty. Do you know how much sex I've had where I've just like wanted it to end, where it's felt like a sentence in hell? Do you know how much sex I've had where I'm like watching myself from the ceiling, just like completely dissociated?
I mean, I've had plenty of that myself, but it's never the sex. It's always something else going on that I've created in my own head.
That's fair.
Damn, I'm kind of bummed that I never got to, because Brendan, you moved into the room I was supposed to move into, right?
Oh, yeah, Burbank. That's right. You were supposed to.
Oh, yeah. I guess so.
That should have been what I did. I shouldn't have gone to Denver and then.
I forgot you went to Denver.
I lived in Denver.
What were you doing in Denver?
8 days. 8 days. I packed my fucking car up. I drove to Denver. I unpacked. My buddy, who's also from Doylestown, was going to meet. He already had his room there. with his dog and everything, but he had to fly back out to Doylestown to go to jail for a week because for his second DUI or something like that. Then he was going to fly back. Mm-hmm. So I'm living with this other dude.
Wait, he flew back to serve his own jail sentence?
Yeah.
That's a fucking
his parents are lawyers. So he was just like, dude, it's going to be easy. Like I get to order out. I can bring books and stuff. He called out sick to jail, by the way. The day he was supposed to go, he was too hungover. So he called out sick to jail. So they gave him another week. Yeah. But anyway, I'm living with this dude I don't know who he had a DUI. When you get a DUI in Colorado, you get random drug tests. It's a big fucking deal. So whatever. I go out the one night with my buddy Mikey. We're out till like 5 a.m. We get blow and stuff. And we're like doing blow on my front porch. And it's crazy. I wake up like terrible hangover. Like the next day after my hangover, I realized I accidentally bought 2 bags of cocaine. And I was like, good thing I didn't know about this the first night. That would have been bad for me. So I told my roommate about it. I'm like, classic mix up, dude. Like, do I have egg on my face? I bought 2 bags of cocaine instead of 1. How dumb am I? And he's like, we've all been there. And then the next day, so he's been waiting for his drug test. He knows it's coming. Uh-huh. It could be any day. Could be today. He comes up to me and he's like, you still have that blow? And I was like, yeah. He's like, let me check it out. Oh, I give it to him. He pulls out a knife, does a bump, and he's like, I'm going to fail my drug test. So, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, that was when I started realizing, like, this might have been a bad move for me.
Whoa, dude. That
so
guy.
Go out. We run out of cocaine, and it's 2 in the morning.
What happens.
You rarely wake up with more. That's
Has
why
anybody
I was like,
ever had?
I woke up with a full bag. I was like, that never happens.
Extra cocaine.
So he's like, I know a guy. So we Uber over to this guy's basement apartment in like the center of Denver, and windowless apartment. He sells blow, and he's like covered in Nazi tattoos. And I'm like, this is not where I want to be. Like with a guy with like swastika tattoos, like I don't like doing sketchy blow with. And he's like, I'm not actually a Nazi, dude. Like I can tell you're looking at my tattoos. I actually served some time in a federal prison. And the only way I wasn't going to get the shit beat out of me was if I, joined the Nazis. But like, I'm out. Like, don't worry. Like, I just needed to do what I needed to do to get by. And I was like, wow. So
that's the same as when I started dating my girlfriend. And I was like, yeah, I used to do comedy, but like that chapter of my life's done.
But we partied until like 10 in the morning. I forced myself to go to bed. I wake up at 5 p.m. There are now 14 people at the house. And I wake up to Prodigy's Smack My Bitch Up getting blasted through the house. So I don't know if you've ever like had a cocaine hangover. The worst song you could ever wake up to.
That's, dude, it's funny how like every single drug dealer is the same guy with the same taste. Even hearing Smack My Bitch Up now gives me like the anxiety, like upset stomach. Like,
have you ever had to hold a lizard when you were buying drugs? Because that's happened to me twice. Two different drug dealers.
I've never had to hold a lizard.
They've pulled a lizard out of its terrarium and said, "Hey, can you hold this while I go get your Coke?" And I'm like, I guess I want Coke bad enough to hold a weird lizard.
Well, why can't he stay in his glass home? Why is there a handoff?
Maybe it's
like a
strategy to keep
there's a lizard around. You're going to want to pick it up.
Maybe that's true.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it's a strategy of like keep your hands full so you can't steal things.
Oh, interesting.
While he's gone.
That's actually a great. Yeah, that's probably it. What was I going to do? Steal the Alien vs. Predator action figures on his Christmas tree, which is what was at his house, by the way.
Oh, dude. No, I will never in my life go back to having to hang out in fucking like drug dealers' houses. Like I just can't do it. Having to sit there like while it takes them an hour and a half to get your drugs ready, they want to freestyle rap for you and beatbox. It's the absolute worst.
Yeah, you gotta have the conversation where they're like, "Yo, you ever heard that song Dance with the Devil?" You're like, "Yes, I have." He's like, "Yo, let's listen to it." And you're like, "No, I have heard it. We don't need to listen to it again."
I went to pick up one time, like the worst. I went to pick up drugs at this crack house in Midtown once when this was before I moved. Maybe I was like 20 or 21, and it's one of those things where it's like when you walk in, just like you think you know about how many people are probably in the house. And then, like, you know what I mean? Over the course of, like, 15 minutes, I see 10 different people come out of and go upstairs where I'm just like, there's 50 people in this house. Like, I completely underestimated how many people are moving in this residence.
Every house is like an MC Escher, just like the doorways that, like, lead to nowhere.
Yeah, like
staircases that go sideways, like nothing makes sense. People walking on walls.
It's like you think they're going to give you the drugs and then tell you to like jump out the window.
You have to jump out sideways.
Yeah, that's how you get out.
If I would have just went to Burbank, I would have not had to do drugs with a Nazi and drive home 8 days later.
It's pretty nice. I'm actually in that room now. I'm still here.
Yo, I picked out that apartment, by the way.
Sean, we were all really confused when you didn't show up. I know you picked it out.
It had a fireplace and a pool. Like, I was like, guys, like we live in squalor right now. Mm-hmm. We're going to live, but like we make enough money that we can afford a nicer place in like Burbank. So I found a place with a fireplace. It has a fireplace, right?
Fireplace doesn't work, but it does have it.
Well, it's got one.
Mm-hmm.
It does have one.
And a pool.
It's got it all.
There's a pool. And there's a sauna. It rules.
Fucking sauna?
There's a sauna.
That would be a fucking big bonus.
You would have, for 2 years in a row, we were grounded for the wildfires that tore through the Latunia Canyon and like the valley and everything. They were right in our backyard. Sean, you know, it was like an entire week where like the entire hills where we lived were on fire. It looked like, you know, hell.
So
it looked like and dude, I was up till 2 a.m. every night just like stalking the fire, like seeing how far it went. I wished you were there, dude. I would have loved to have gotten Cocaine Sean to go fire hunting with me.
I don't know. You guys had like Cocaine Sean was like pretty much exclusively. I mean, I did it before and I didn't do it most of the time in LA. But when I started doing it in LA, I was doing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember like two things would wake me up. Isaac playing his video games, which fair, or I would just hear Bon Iver like slowly echoing through the hallway from the living room on YouTube, and that's how I knew that you were doing cocaine.
It was that was a weird fucking phase of my life, man. Weird fucking phase.
You would load up, I think it was the new Bon Iver album, definitely, which is such a weird album to like stay up all night snorting cocaine to, but that's what you would do.
I've always visualized these stories with Forever Forever Ago playing, which is much funnier.
No, it's the weird like
You're not
it's the
that
one.
Wrong.
He was doing coke to like the weird electronic one.
It sounds like that Bon Iver record sounds like a gay computer virus. Like If I ever
relapse and start doing coke, I'm just gonna play like Sufjan Stevens for people.
Yeah, that's like honestly, I don't know. Whenever I would do it, it's like
the Bon Iver album where he speeds his voice up to sound like a chipmunk, and like every time I would hear that, like I would be like, Sean is doing cocaine. It's 3 a.m.
Yeah, that was a weird time. You know, if you're living on a twin air mattress in between a kitchen and a living room, there's kind of no rules at that point. Like I worked 40 to 50 hours a week. Like I had no time to do comedy or anything that I moved out there to do. So it's like my days off. I'm like, well, I'll just drink gasoline. Like, what else am I going to do? Like, I
feel like there's no way to like move here without at least the first year and a half being a complete mental breakdown.
Oh
right?
yeah,
but we were even like, because you were working like 50 hours a week, you know, and you lived. Not even in a hall. You lived, like we said, between the kitchen and living room. I did the math after I got my W-2 from there. I was making like $60,000 a year. Yeah, and your rent was like the most money.
My rent was $350 or something like that. And so I saved all this money. I lived on a fucking air. I'm like, what is happening with my life right now? Like,
Sean,
I should be doing well.
You should have. You know what, Sean? Work 30 hours a week. Do comedy.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to find a new job so I could.
Right. Well, couldn't you just ask? You just say you want less shifts. Like
I don't know why I moved, because like looking back, I mean, I loved living with you guys. It was so much fucking fun. I don't think I was as much fun to live with sometimes, but well, no, I mean, Isaac screaming all the time.
Right.
Tim and Kelly having loud, clappy sex.
That's right.
One time I was drunk on the couch watching Chop Junior or MasterChef Junior. And I started crying because this little fat kid lost, or was going home. And then I just hear like loud, just like like caveman sex from the other room.
Yeah.
And while I'm crying, alone on the couch watching MasterChef Junior, and then like Tim walks out with like a half chub, and he's like, "What's going on, man? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fine, dude. I'm fine."
That's the Tim walking. Hey, what's going on? What are you guys up to? Like just pouring with sweat, like cum staining the front of his sweatpants.
I forgot how lonely listening to people fuck can be.
Right.
Oh, God.
Well, yeah, we got real into fucking Gordon Ramsay, but the what oh, you reminded me of something. Oh, I remember. It's like you could have been so great, dude. You were in one video here and it was a viral hit. You did.
It has 150 million views, by the way.
Yeah,
I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. If I would have made 1 cent off of every single view, or I would have, I think it was like I would have made like $200,000 or $300,000 or something like that. They were supposed to pay me, but something got fucked up and they never did.
Damn.
So, and after I moved back, they asked me to do more, and I was like, maybe I'll come back. You know, I'll be back in April, and then I fucking never did.
Sean, I hate you so much. I'm
glad I didn't do it,
dude. The red carpet was just unfurling before your feet, and you were like, "No, I gotta go." You're like, "I gotta go back to Doylestown."
Dude, I hated every single like. I knew you guys, and I had my friend, like, you know, my friend Allie out there, and she introduced me to a bunch of people, and she's like, "These guys can like, these good people to know. They can like book you and stuff." And I was like, I went to like a birthday party. I won't name any names, but I hated literally every single person I met there besides my friend.
Definitely.
I was like, these are the most I've never wanted to beat up other comedians before. Ever. Yeah. Until I moved to LA, and I was like, these are the most unsufferable people I've ever met in my life.
They're really no good.
One dude name dropped a Philly comic to me. He's like, "Do you know this guy?" I'm like, yeah, I'm from, like, I know him. And he's just like, "Yeah, I know him." Like, yeah, he told me he can book me whenever I show up to Philly. I'm like,
who's he name dropping? If it's not weird,
I don't want to say.
Okay,
but it was at the time. It was he was like a Philly comic, but he wasn't famous or anything. Like, it wasn't Shane, but it was like, it was yeah, I don't want to say who, but I'll tell you after. But yeah, it was just a weird comic to name drop.
I know Robert Rule.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, yeah. You know Rick Rabotin? Like, no, it was. I mean, this comic like works and stuff now, but like, at the time, like, I was just like, what a weird name drop. And then like, he was very cold like the rest of the party. I'm like, I was like, I don't want to be like, they were all like talking shit on like this one comic who's like, was super hot at the time because he was like giving unsolicited stand-up advice. Like, I'm not going to listen to him. I'm like, maybe you should, because he's like on TV.
Right.
If you're hanging out with him, maybe you should like take his advice. And are any of those dudes doing well? No, not one of them.
It's hard to tell, though. The thing about LA is it's hard to tell if someone's doing well sometimes because they're really good at like pretending.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And they'll also just like there's this circle of like shows and like clout and dick sucking that like means nothing and all those people are losers, but they also protect and exclude from that so ferociously that you're like, maybe that is good. Maybe they're doing good. I don't know.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You kind of let them like cannibalize themselves. I was like, that's always how, like, I was very, when I first started doing comedy, like, I'm going to do it like the way, Pete Holmes tells me to do it, when I was fucking 20 years old, like fucking stupid. Yeah. And then like by 4 years into comedy, I'm like, I would rather this just be a hobby the rest of my life than have to hang out with people I don't like or do stuff I don't want to do. Cause like, what's the fun in doing this if I'm just hanging out with like the most annoying people I've ever met,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It
takes the fun out of it.
It's like the whole reason why comedy was appealing is because I didn't want to, like, the obligation of structure it seemed like it was going to be different from like any other field or community that you would get into, like but why would it be? I guess in retrospect, It completely makes sense. But yeah, that's always such a turnoff every time like you think you finally found a way to like just be free and like be creative, and then you're like, I got to deal with all the fucking bullshit of this community. Buh.
Yeah.
So that I say phooey.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, have you guys like seen any like just what comics are doing now? Like all the comics that like would like give you weird looks at open mics, like what they're doing now, like this far into quarantine.
They're just like, I'm a whore
Zoom
now.
shows, or they're like living in their parents' like giant fucking house somewhere.
Let me tell you something.
They're all like they're living in their parents' giant house while on OnlyFans.
Nothing.
Me and my dad, like that would be a comedian thing to do. It's just like, all right, I know this is crazy, guys, but I started an OnlyFans with my dad. I know, this is hilarious. It's like when comics, and I'm not including Lemaire. Lemaire is very funny, but like comics who like make Pornhub accounts for like their stand-up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we get it. How crazy. You're wild for doing that.
Yeah, dude. No, I love obsessively specifically people. I mean, my favorite people to check on who slighted me are people who had credits in like 2013, 2014, because there were a lot of comics who like, came through to Baltimore. Some comics that I'm out of here, it's like, oh yeah, they did late night, like in the early 10s, and now, man, they're struggling. They're starting podcasts. Nobody's listening. They're getting 7 likes to a tweet. 10,000 followers, 7 likes to a tweet. Something's wrong. He's going to need help.
You guys have more patrons than the fucking Dana Gould Hour or like any of those. Like if you look at like the comics, we like or liked when we started comedy, and you look at their podcast numbers, you start to realize that like all of this is either branding or like fucking having a publicist, because you're like, no one gives a shit about these fucking people at all.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's what a lot of
nobody
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, remember when we like the comics we'd look up to when we were younger, and we're like, oh man, they have like a half hour, they have this, they have that, or whatever. And you're like, they have no money. They didn't have money then. They don't have any money now. Like, you might as well just stay a bartender.
A big eye opener was I remember back when like the AV Club would review comedy albums, listening to this one guy's album and being like, oh, this guy's really funny, and like having it on my like iPod and stuff. And then out here I would like go to his open mic every week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all that being said, guys, please buy Adam Newman's guitars. He's selling them on eBay. He really needs the money. He's trying to crawl his way back to doing late night again, and I believe he can do it. I think he can. Personality quirks aside, I'm really rooting for the guy.
Met him at an open mic once in New York.
You know what's
he gave me a business card.
He did?
Yeah. Because I was like, I liked when I first got into stand-up, I liked that one record he put out. So I met him. I'm like, hey, I like your album. And he's like, hey man, thanks. Here's my card. Let me know if you're ever doing any shows or something. I'm like, is this what people fucking do? They have business cards? I'm not making business cards.
Yeah, dude.
I'm never doing this.
I'm sure the funniest thing about my feud with Adam Newman is I'm sure he has no idea who I am, even though I talked to him for an hour. But in the hour that we spoke together, he mentioned the fact that he had done John Oliver's New York stand-up show like no less than 3 times. And I was just like, damn, dude, shut the I'm just trying to fucking, like, hang out at this. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Nothing makes me more
understand.
happy than, like, the fact that a green room hang is illegal, like, federally.
Yeah, dude.
That fucking rules, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's like I want to, like, there are so many comics where I'm just like, and now it's funny, like, the pandemic, like, bringing it all. I got to be careful before I go full bitter Nick. I'm going to reel myself in a little bit, but
Yeah, listen,
what Sean is
too much
articulating
red
here,
bar.
yeah, I don't want to go. Dan Saint Germain, look, what a disgusting guy. I mean, really, Jules, have you ever seen a guy this unkempt and disgusting? Anyway, sorry. Been watching so much Red
headlined
Bar.
the Lizard Lounge in Lancaster. There was like this brief period where we were like, it was this comic lady who, like, she was like, you know, one of those phonies who, like, paints herself as successful.
Mm-hmm.
So then the bartender was like, oh, so I'll get her to, like, hook us up with headliners to book comedy at this bar in Lancaster, PA. And then rather than booking people with a draw, she would basically use that to, like, trade favors to get spots in New York. So then it would just be these, like, fucking, like, losers who had, like, a Conan credit, so they thought that they were above doing this kind of show. So they would just show up, they have no draw, no one shows up, and then they would just have a complete crisis on stage. And it was amazing, because, like, I would host most of them, and I would be, like, really excited about it, and then they would come, they'd basically act like they were Chappelle, like, yeah, I'm not going to do material, but then also bomb, like, really hard.
Dude, when me and Charles Bliznick had that show in Doylestown, which they were either fantastic or the worst show I've ever been a part of. But it was fun. We had one headliner once. Just once we paid a headliner, and she was from Philly, or she wasn't from Philly, but she lives in Philly. I think you probably are picking up who it is, but she was, like, at one point, like, she knew I was doing the show, or, like, this was me and Charles' show. And Brian Fennell was on stage, and his mic cut out, and he was high, so he just stopped using the microphone. And so he was just yelling at the bar. And, like, it wasn't a particularly bad show. Like, we had good comics on, but, like, she was just like, I just called my husband because this is, like, the worst show I've ever been a part of. Like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, you know what?
Yeah, I've heard your comedy bang miss. I think that maybe you should.
Oh, she called her husband, so I know exactly.
Yeah, she was, like, talking to her husband, and she was just like, yeah, like, this is, like, one of the worst shows I've ever done. I'm like, oh, sorry, it wasn't opening for Patton Oswalt again. Your credit. Please leave.
Was she calling her husband, who's also a comedian?
No, he's not a comedian.
Oh, then never. I don't know who this is.
No, but, like, she was just, like, openly, like, I don't know. It was just, like, we'd have all sorts of people on the show, and they were, like, all sorts of comics, and they were all fucking, it's a show. Like, it's a dumb bar show. What are you can't expect this to be anything more than it is base level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Fucking, like, people with, and maybe it's just because, like, there was a moment where, like, the second comedy, actually, I guess the second comedy boom lasted about as long as the first one. It feels like it was 10 years from, like, 2000, maybe a little less than 10 years, right? If we had 2008 to 2016. And I feel like a lot of these people who got Comedy Central half hours really bought into the idea that, like, oh shit, like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna be, I'll be relevant forever. And we're watching them. The pandemic has accelerated it, but we're quickly watching them grapple with their, like, inevitable irrelevancy as, like,
How can there be that many comedians? I mean, just based off of they can't one season. If there was one person from each season of the half hour became famous, that would still be way too many fucking stand-up comedians.
It's weird though, because you look at certain years and they're all still famous,
right?
But it's all insular. It's all like a bubble. Like, if the comedy bubble is real, and the fact that it's only sustained by other comics, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and it's cool that this time it got ended by just God.
Right. He was like, we cannot have this. Well, I mean, I think what's funny is it's funny to watch the type of people who had half hours in 2013, especially when, like, I would say, like, slightly more intelligent, slightly more alt skewed comedy was being pushed by Comedy Central. It's funny to watch those guys become bar acts and road acts because their comedy's really not suited. It made sense like post the 80s boom. Yeah, guys fucking showing up doing like crowd work, doing, men and women are different material. It's like that, you understand why they go on the road and go to the middle of the country. Yeah. But it's interesting to watch people who were kind of like fostered in I guess I'd say more delicate scenes have to like
like ballrooms and stuff like that, because it's like the stuff, and that's like the biggest thing with like the Seth Simon stuff and like all of that, where it's like people like the comedy dorks have no idea that that's the stuff they find funny or pretend to think is funny.
Right.
The rest of the country does not give a fuck about or like. They like Shane Gillis. They like, that's the stuff they like.
It would be really funny to see that.
Because he's undeniably good.
Yeah. He's undeniably funny. People like to feel uncomfortable or fucking whatever, like without getting like corny and like breaking it all down. But like most people like stand up like that. That's whenever you tell somebody you're stand up, they either like, are you like fluffy? Or like, do you know Joe Rogan? It's like, oh, the two most famous comedians. No one's ever like, oh, are you like Andy Haynes or like some other comic that like was, that had like heat on them for a second, like whoever, like no one gives a shit. It's all famous fuck. Like
it's crazy how many people who had half hours in like the early 10s, like all work for this moving company in New York now. Like that's how they have to. No, but it's real. It's true.
But that's, I have no issues with that because there's a lot of comics like I'm not shitting on all of them.
I'm not shitting on them. I'm saying that's just their fucking reality.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's really no different than like, I don't know why people don't just accept like that comedy's mostly a hobby, that you'll probably have to work for a moving company or something like that. Like a lot of very funny people do it and they're going to have to.
Yeah. Sad.
I was gonna say I would love to
stuff, dude.
Yeah, I would love to see like a Seth Simons write up of just like him having to watch a random headliner at like a Comedy Zone or like a Funny Bone.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god!
Just be like,
he has to watch like the like Richard the retarded hypnotist or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like local like, East Coast headliner.
Yeah, this guy's canceled. This 70-year-old Italian man.
The Amish rapist or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's always like and they're going on stage, they're saying the word. They're saying every word. They're saying them.
I remember
like
huge
laughs.
Like starting in like the middle of rural PA, I remember seeing a guy go up, start his set, he's doing like material. It's not going so hot, he's kind of losing the crowd. So then I see him like think, and he's like, "All right, 2 N-words walk into a bar," and everybody's like clapping.
Yep, got him back.
Yeah, and he starts crushing, and I'm just like, "Wow, this is not what I thought comedy was going to be like."
Dude,
that's what it is.
That's what comedy is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Crick, did you ever do the Comedy Cabaret?
Yeah.
The headliners there have not changed their act in 30 years.
No,
and they're still doing Viagra jokes. They're doing America's funniest home video jokes.
Oh, hell.
And they're killing.
You see the Simon Cowell guy?
The what?
I said, you see this Simon Cowell guy?
Dude, exactly.
Yeah.
It's and they're killing. So it's like, maybe just lower your bar, Maybe that's what we should all start doing. Get puppets or something.
Maybe.
Develop some sort of character. Learn magic.
I think I could get on board with fucking Simon Cowell material because I go through these. I think it happened even while Sean was living with me. When I like am really spiraling, I just watch like America's Got Talent, like inspirational. Like I search America's Got Talent, Simon Being Nice compilation, and I'll lose 2.5 hours to that. Just like
you
Simon.
love watching mean people be nice.
Dude, we did the same thing with fucking Gordon Ramsay.
Yep.
Gordon Ramsay being nice to kids. Oh, I'm always down to have it thrown on, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I love that there's a video that juxtaposes the way he talks to adults and the way he talks to kids. I mean, that shit, I could inject that right into my veins. Oh, I love Gordon Ramsay so much.
Guys, I'm very sorry. I have to pee. I will be right back.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk amongst ourselves. Yeah, man.
Yo, how stoked are you guys? Because we're going to Joshua Tree in Palm Springs this summer. We're doing it.
Well,
I know you're going soon.
I'm going this month. In July, we're going back to the East Coast. I can't even actually talk about why we're going back to the East Coast on Mike yet until we have it nailed down. But I will say that for 2 weeks in July, I'm probably going to be on the East Coast. So if we can coordinate it to like after then, that would be sick.
Dude, that'd be.
But yeah, dude.
Tight.
I'm like, should we bring our girlfriends or should we make it just a boys' weekend?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dude, it's all about Sherry. My girlfriend was talking to me about this. She was just like, if you just want to have like a boys' weekend, I was like, you don't understand. Boys transcends traditional gender norms, honey.
Right.
This is you gotta have boys' energy, boys' weekend energy. And I was like, you can definitely manifest that. I know that. And I think it sounds like your girlfriend could definitely.
Oh, she can have
thrive at a boys' weekend.
She can thrive at a boys' weekend for sure. We'll have to get a place with like fucking 4 bedrooms or something. Then
dude,
the place
big time.
We got a really cheap place. The place that we're going in 2 weeks, we got a really cheap place like with 2 bedrooms, and it's nice. The Time Machine is no longer. They don't rent it out anymore. But we found another place that's on like 6 acres with like a record player that looks like it's gonna be fucking tight.
Dude, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, me and Lou did an episode. We don't know what we're doing. Like,
it would be so much fun to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just got excited. No. Like, we should take our girlfriends to Joshua Tree, all 4 of us, and just like all get like fucked up, like have like a wild ass weekend in the desert.
Dude, fuck yeah. Well, that's the thing. Me and Lou just did an episode, because he stayed in Palm Springs like last August. At this hotel that has 40 fucking pools. It was actually the place where they shot The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like just a bunch of casitas and stuff, but they have like 41 pools. So we called the front desk to see if we could logistically take a dip in every single one of those pools.
Hell yes.
She was loving it. It was like this nice lady at the front desk, and we were like, oh, so 5 of them are private, so I guess we'll only hit 36. And she was like, Lord, you guys seem like you could make friends anywhere. I bet you was getting those extra 5 pools. And was like, fuck yes.
I love a kind prank phone call.
That was the thing, because we wanted information. So we wanted to like be like, hey, I know we sound like a couple of knuckleheads right now, but logistically, 41 pools one day, can it be done? Let's go. And she was on board.
Damn, dude,
that's what I'm trying to. All the boys, 41 pools.
We should bring 41 boys, one for each pool.
If you win over the black lady on the phone, that's powerful charm energy, dude. That's you. You're very good at charming people if you're able to like get her, be like, y'all have won me over. This is not even my job, but y'all have won me over.
I've been riding this high, for probably the past 4 days.
That's sick, dude.
Does your because I just found out about it yesterday. I haven't been able to listen to it yet, but does your show, is it like is it a lot of prank phone calls, or is it just like
no? We have no idea what the fuck we're really doing.
Gotcha.
It'll get better. People have been saying nice things, but a lot of time we like drink like we were drinking bangs before. Like we were trying to like review a bang.
Oh yeah, I listened to that episode. Yeah, I listened to that one.
We had to stop doing that because we got too nervous. You kind of forget how to talk.
Really? Is it that fucking? Is it
bang
that
an
mind
energy
altering?
drink?
Oh, dude, it is so much caffeine at once. We split one, and like I felt my blood sweating. Like it was too much.
Damn,
dude. Like,
and
I don't fuck with. I don't really fuck with caffeine. It's the one thing I don't really drink, because I don't drink caffeine at all, and I've never had an energy drink in my life. But from people that I know, I've never had an energy drink in my life. They seem like they should probably be. I've never had one, dude.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I get that from you.
I'm not a big caffeine. It just got like I was drinking like 2 Monsters every morning at work, and it was just no good. So I had to quit.
Ooh, and a morning Monster's that's a fucking. That's a very particular vibe.
Yeah,
that is a thick vibe.
Yeah, you show up to work with you got 2 Monsters, and I would show up with like 2 Monsters, and then like whatever shitty California version of Tasty Cakes was at the at the gas station. Sometimes I would have 2 Monsters, 2 donuts, and I would just be like,
dude, a shot and a chaser.
Yeah,
love that.
Just like bursting out of these khakis because because it's work clothes. I don't care what I look like at work, so I just never bought new work clothes after I grew out of the ones that I had.
Right.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
It's like if you don't like it, then give me more money for work clothes.
Yeah, give me more money.
Spending my Xbox money.
Yeah. Or at that time, it was like my camping equipment because I think that it's about to be the road because I was having a complete mental breakdown.
Right. Yeah, you're preparing for the road by drinking Monster Energy drinks and eating donut holes.
Yeah.
Yo, me and Tom were just talking about this. I'm sorry I'm holding a Nerf gun.
No, you're good.
No, it's okay.
Fucking, me and Tom were just talking about this. When we went to Joshua Tree, it was absolutely incredible that every single time, like me, Nick, or Tom were like, fuck, I wish we had a one very particular thing that why would any of us have it? Brendan every single time would be like, oh, I packed one.
That's right.
And here's the thing.
Everything. Literally, fuck, I'm trying to remember like specifics, but there was like one thing where I was like, oh, we're going to have to drive to Walmart to get this. And you're like, oh, I brought a couple. You're like, why would you think you're the most prepared person.
I had like
he had the
paper,
Mary Poppins bag
lanterns.
of camping equipment.
Well, here's the thing, Sean. I had not packed it. It was in my car permanently. Because I thought, and I struggle with this because I had a mental breakdown. I thought that the world was ending. And then when I finally came to terms with that and started like getting a little bit healthier, the world started ending. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I was right, but I also need to learn not to be like that again.
Right. That's the hardest thing about all this.
Yeah. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't leave my house other than to go to work, and I ate only canned food that I had like prepped for weeks. I was
you had rations.
Yeah,
you had rations.
I was eating
straight up rations.
Spam and Chef Boyardee because I was afraid to go to the grocery store.
And then, like, the minute that, like, actual global pandemic hits, he's just, like, ordering Heroes on Postmates.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, eating out.
Also, I got
Are you guys
COVID.
vaxxed yet?
Yes.
I just got my first shot.
Fuck yeah.
I was talking about it before we started recording, but it's like kicking my ass. Like, I've had headaches for, like, days. I got it on Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but apparently the side effects are worse if you've had COVID. And I don't know 100% if I have COVID, because if I did, it was before you could actually get a test.
Okay.
Brendan,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. If you had COVID and we were doing because I remember doing the podcast with you when you were sick, like we hadn't done it remote yet. If you had COVID and I was hanging out with you fucking, I think it was twice a week at that point, and then I still flew across the country like 4 or 5 times. Well, no, I was on a plane double the amount of times that I traveled. So like, yeah, almost 9 times. How, and the fact that I've just been like licking my fingers while I ride the bus, like no joke, I can't stop biting my nails. I think I'm immune to COVID. I feel like I should like raise my hand and like submit myself.
I have a couple
to scientific-
friends.
I think you were probably
who
just
were
asymptomatic at some
exposed.
point.
I think I'm asymptomatic, but I would have
think-
gotten other people sick, wouldn't I? Because I
You
would
can just
like
not get it.
Not all,
That's
yeah.
totally possible.
You can also just like, it doesn't mean you're immune. It could have just like entered you. It wasn't that bad, you know.
But why? But how did I not get other people sick then? Like I was fucking dude.
Maybe
I was
you
fucking
did.
traveling.
You don't know.
I was fucking making out with my girlfriend. I feel like I don't
Your
know.
immune system can take care of it without you shedding the virus. So you can contract it, not test positive, and also not be contagious.
I'm pretty sure that my immune system just fucking rocks.
Dude, you never. I know 2 dudes in
Well, you
like
eat
my
a lot
friends
of
growing
bread,
up in
so that's
Doylestown.
probably it.
What?
It's probably all the bread.
It's all the bread and it's all the vitamin D.
Yeah, there's nothing getting through the lining of your stomach, dude.
Dude,
your membranes are fucking stainless steel. Nothing's getting through them.
If you want to know how to live to be 110 years old, this is monks in Tibet do this. You're going to want to take a nice piece of focaccia bread and Flintstones vitamins and just have 3 of those every day. Just make a nice little Flintstone vitamin sandwich, focaccia bread. Focaccia is important. It's very healthy bread. You'll be fucking fine. Nothing's going to happen to you. You could jump off a building. You'll be fine.
Save your leftovers from KFC, Taco Bell, Carl's Jr. Still do that? Does Isaac still do that?
No, we don't really do fast food that much at all anymore. I mean, I finally took a page out of your book and I finally started like cooking for myself. Isaac, sometimes I will just see like a half-eaten burrito sitting in the fridge. But
I miss him. I literally
great, dude.
I know me and you are really good friends and stuff. The thing I miss the most about LA is Isaac. I miss
great.
getting woken up at 2 a.m, hearing his like sweet little feet clap on the ground because he's mad at his video game.
That's right.
You know?
Come on! You're a big man! You're a big man!
Funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm half asleep and him yelling at NBA 2K going, "Come on, you're a big man! Get in the game!" Funniest human being on the
It
planet.
was so fun.
Holy
Like
shit.
when I came and visited to LA, and met you, Sean, but just like walking into that world, because I had not seen Nick or Isaac in like 3 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we were
welcome.
both sleeping in the living room where Isaac played video games. So it was like we were in The Handmaid's Tales. Like we just crossed paths. And I'm like, yeah, this is what it's like here. You know, you just got to get used to Isaac, you know, getting so mad that like the sores in his mouth burst.
Oh, I forgot that was happening.
Isaac had sores in his
Isaac's
mouth.
really had a what?
Isaac had sores in his mouth.
His oral health has had a huge glow up. I will say that.
Good for him.
You remember we went to see that premiere, Barn Dog's short film premiered at the Chinese. Dude, we went to the fucking like Chinese theater. It was like a legit like LA.
We don't call it that anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, we went to the COVID theater.
The Shane Gillis Memorial Theater.
Come on.
Oh yeah, that's right. We mourned Donald Trump's star. That was the first time somebody
Oh,
busted
yeah.
it up.
That was when it was still acceptable to like ironically stand Trump.
Yo,
What do you mean when it was
Nick
still?
took it way over. Like, I still remember
I was
we
ahead of
would be
all these people.
we would be at open mics and he would like I was like, dude, I'm not one for playing the game here, but you're never going to get booked if you keep talking to these people about how white ethno-state's the only way to truly like you would say with like a big smile on your face, but people are like,
Right,
I don't-
because they don't know me.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is my first
I was like, I don't
impression.
know that you're
Yeah, you used to do that all the time. You're like, wouldn't it be funny if I was like fully alt-right?
Oh my god, you were so like. There were times where like we'd be at parties and I'm like, dude, you gotta like. Not everybody gets it. Like
It was so
funny, dude.
It was so funny. That was
Yeah.
before he won.
And then he won, and then you like were like, all right, you know,
Well,
I was
for-
joking.
Yeah. For a while, I was like that, and then I was like, no, maybe this is hilarious again. Honestly, I think I've fallen firmly on the fact of it is hilarious, and it's even more hilarious now that he's not in there.
I did a show at Good.
I mean, Brendan had the best one ever.
Where-
Brendan's turned on Trump, but he had the best joke ever. Robbie and I always talk about it. He said, "I wish that we could slow the rotation of the Earth so that he could be president even longer." It's the greatest standing Trump joke I've ever fucking heard.
Damn, I don't remember saying that.
Yeah.
You were at Good.
I got in trouble. Well, I didn't get in trouble. No one scolded me for this, but I never got booked again. But I did that Tinder show at Good, where
Awful show.
you would, yeah, where I love Eddie Finn. He booked me, but it was like not a, yeah, I did a character on Tinder where I pretended to like be an alt-right guy. And
Nice.
I was talking to this girl live, like on the thing. And I don't know, I called TMZ. I said TMZ stands for the Trolls of Mount Zion.
Oh yeah.
And I did not get booked again. And one of the comics on the couch literally went boo. So I was like, oh, okay. Well,
Damn.
maybe I shouldn't have done this character.
I'm surprised how
No.
long I lasted there.
I'm surprised. Like, it's so
Yeah.
funny thinking about the comics who had like the local comics who had the biggest shows there are the ones that were immediately banned when they decided that they were only going to book New York comics with bar shows, like
Yeah, yeah.
successful bar shows.
I mean, I know it's pointless talking about this because it's shut down, right? Obviously,
it's
but
gone.
Yeah.
wasn't its name like racist? Like, wasn't that the joke? Is that it was a Chinese? It was like
It was in China.
Asian voice, good.
That was just. I mean, that's not what they intended, but that was what Shane opened with all 4 times they let him perform.
Oh, okay.
No, he'd come out and he'd be like, yeah, it's funny you named this because it's what the people in the neighborhood call it. It's like, it's a very good comedy show.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's so funny.
Yeah, good bit. Well, also, like, they got their money to open the theater because him and McCusker had that digital graffiti show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show that was just, let's post racist memes in a group chat on a projector.
Yeah. I think I said...
That, sold out every time. People were like, this is sick.
That was one where it's like, I think if I remember correctly, he asked me to do that and I said no. Because I knew the reputation that show had to just, like, fucking destroy you. Mm-hmm. Like, if you were getting booked on it, it was probably because they wanted to fucking make fun of you really bad.
I did it,
like, nah, man, I'm
and
good.
I was horrified as soon as I saw what was happening. But, like, apparently, like, everybody who came with me, they're like, they were actually pretty nice to you the entire time. One comic booed me because I said I made a joke about the Jersey Devil being a retarded kid, but
they booed you at digital graffiti.
Yeah, but this is a comic that's like you wouldn't if you knew who it was, you'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But but I had no fucking idea. Like I knew what it was, but I was like, there was I think there was like a comic from like Baltimore. She was like, she had blue hair, you know. She was. I was like, this girl would straight up fucking kill herself if she saw what was happening behind her. I don't think you would know her name. She was younger, but like,
I think
one
I
of those
do know who
comics.
that
I was
is.
like, I was like, I didn't want to like. It was some fucking brutal stuff. I was like, I would never do this again, but I want to go to all of them.
If it's the comic I'm thinking of, I last saw her. She moved out here and started hosting an open mic, and didn't recognize me, I guess, but she had like, we were talking about that year and a half.
It's not her. It's not her, but I know
okay.
who you're talking about. Yeah.
She had like shaved her head and like,
Yep.
just like completely unraveling on stage.
Yeah. I remember her.
She invited me to go see her at a show. When
She
I first
invited me
moved out
too.
here.
Yeah,
She was like, hey, I'm doing the show if you want to come. It wasn't like, hey, do you want some time? She's like, hey, do you want to come see me? And I'm like, no, I don't want to see my best friend do stand-up comedy. I don't. But thank you. That's nice.
Oh, was it? I didn't realize you guys were close. The
me and her were
invitation.
not close. But
no, he means like I wouldn't go see my best friend do a show.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was weird because she invited me and I was like, we've never even we've been in the same room countless times and I was like, we've never spoken to each other.
Yeah.
But all right, you know.
No, this girl at Digital Graffiti, I think she was like a new comic. Like I think she did it for like a minute and I don't know what she's doing now. Probably
Digital
improv.
Graffiti and fucking quit. It was for if you guys are listening, we should explain. It was a show where comics would do a set, and then there would be a panel of like Shane and like a couple other mean comics, and they would be writing shit that would be projected behind the comic while they're doing their set. That's just like the meanest shit in the world, basically.
Yeah, I
About
was
them,
like,
about the comic.
One of the best the things that made me laugh the most is Lemaire was on stage and someone just kept posting like zoomed in photos of alligators' hands. It's just like looking between them and Lemaire's hand holding the microphone. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
when they were doing the pre-show at the one I went to, they were like setting up the group chat and people were just sitting. So they would just have the group chat going. I don't know if they did that. I'm sure they did that every show, but like they were immediately posting like gifs of like, I think there was one of like the falling man from 9/11, like porn, just like gruesome live leak shit. So like you were seeing people sit down and like a couple of them were like, maybe we should get up. Get out.
You know what? That's a show I would. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no.
I was going to say, I would love to do like a set list, like comedy without a net style show, but the comics have to riff a bit about like live leak videos that I play, like 10 seconds.
You have to watch a live leak video and then
I just
do
like
what's said about it.
Yeah, you throw up like a 10-second clip of a guy getting like deboned in a printing press or something, and then they have to do a 5 minutes on it.
It's just like a poor girl with blue hair, just like crying. She's like, "Don't you hate it when you get your bones sucked out in a printing press? Isn't that just the worst way to start your week?"
The worst thing about that video is that they were printing copies of Mein Kampf. What a way to go.
Oh, fuck. I can already think of so many jokes where it's just like, this will probably make the front page. It already did. Just great Catskills comedy that you could riff about people dying in forklift accidents.
I feel like that was a big rift in our friendship in LA, is that I refused to watch shit like that.
Oh, I loved it.
Because you loved, like, when Brendan when you came for your movie premiere, you guys just immediately sat on the couch and started watching live leak videos.
Well, what were we watching? We were watching.
I wasn't watching them.
Yeah.
I think I went to work.
We watched. What the hell was the video we were watching? We were watching a video. Was it of a girl?
It was like a supercut of girls shitting, and the music was like
it was Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
It was Jimi Hendrix that he had like recorded off of his computer speakers.
Yeah, it was like he held up a microphone to like a record player, just playing one side of a Jimi Hendrix album.
It was because, like, and I don't even remember, like, I didn't have a plan. I think I was like, what's the funniest thing I can put in the search bar? And then, like, let's just, like, watch that.
You searched girls shitting.
Yeah, girls shitting. And then, like, yeah, and I was all about just, like, endurance testing my brain.
Yeah.
It's like, can I finish this? Can I watch all 15 minutes of this?
Dude, holy shit.
Oh, yeah, we pulled up some ISIS videos. Anyway, go on.
Dude, a couple of years ago, an old girlfriend got me for Christmas a night alone at the Poconos in a cabin, which should have said a lot about where that relationship was going. But
you went without her?
I went alone. Yeah, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to be alone in the woods for a couple nights.
I feel you, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. So we obviously, that didn't work out. But
it's one thing for Brendan to do that, not tell anybody, but it's a whole nother level when, like, that's your girlfriend is like, I know that's like your anniversary present.
Yeah,
it's your girlfriend being like, I know you really want this.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it's important to, like, have alone time and stuff, but this was just like, if her doing it for Christmas or my birthday or whatever it was for Christmas, that's more telling,
right?
That we would very soon break up. But anyway, it was only for one night. And we were supposed to get some snow that day. And I was like, whatever, I can drive through snow. We got fucking 3 feet of snow. So I'm driving through a blizzard, 2.5 hours to the Poconos in my fucking Fiat. So it takes me, I get there at like 2 p.m. I left at 7 a.m. I get there and it's on this artist's property. He built this cabin and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, so it sounds, I bet you forgot to pick up some food on your way here, huh? And I was like, yeah, I guess I did. He was like, well, you can eat dinner with me in the mist tonight. And I was like, oh, that'd be lovely. So I, get my, my room set up. I just wanted to, like, go somewhere and read. So, like, I read, and then he comes and knocks on the door. He's like, we'll have dinner ready in an hour if you want to come by around 7:15. I was like, okay. So get there at 7:15, invites me in. It's just like burnt chicken, steak, sweet potatoes. Like, they made a whole thing.
This is the movie Psycho so far.
Oh, yeah. So we're talking very interesting guy. He keeps, like, shitting on his wife, who is a lovely woman. And he's just like, you see, I'm an artist. I've been an artist my whole life. Diane over here, she doesn't have it in her. That's why she's a teacher. She doesn't have a creative bone in her body. And she's looking over at him. She's like, why? Okay. And he's just like, and you know what? She's got tenure now. She can retire any day. She makes over $100,000 a year. And she's like, why are you telling him that? So, like, he's telling all these, like, weird, intimate details about their life. We're like, all right, this is weird. And then he's just like, well, yeah, we don't have cable here. I just watch, I watch some YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, yeah, YouTube. It's what we're all doing now. And he's like going off about stuff he likes to watch. And then he like takes a pause and a deep breath and he goes, one website I really enjoy is website Live Leak. And I saw his wife's face turn white. She's like, no, don't go into this. Don't go into this. And he's like, there's just something amazing about watching how the body reacts to catastrophic injuries. And I was like,
Jesus.
I was like looking down at my plate and I was like, am I eating somebody? Like, because it was like weird chicken. I was like, I was like so fucking uncomfortable. And I was like, oh yeah, that's crazy, man. And he like got like weirdly quiet and his wife looked so like more uncomfortable than I did. So dinner ends. I like go back to my room and I'm like, I might get fucking eaten tonight. And I'm snowed in here. I can't leave. And so
nobody's even going to miss you.
Yeah, and I was not drinking at the time, so I was like, fuck, like, what am I going to do? And I was like, but they got this hot tub. I got to go in the hot tub. There's no way I'm not. I drove all the way here for this hot tub. I'm getting the damn hot tub. Mm-hmm. It's connected to the
I just imagine there's like fucking like, there's like spices and vegetables in the hot tub. Anyway,
like I'm sitting in the hot tub and like a carrot drops in. I'm like,
he comes out with a ladle.
Yeah, a bay leaf.
I was in the hot tub for like 10 minutes because like I kept looking around. I was like, this dude's gonna come out behind me, slash my fucking throat, fucking murder me,
or even worse, just get in the hot tub with you and hang.
I would have preferred. I was so fucking. It was the most scared I've been as an adult. I was like, I'm going to get murdered tonight. This dude's not even just gonna murder me quick. He's gonna make me watch my skin come off. It was fucking yeah. You got to be careful who you talk about Live Leak videos with. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like the modern day horror movie really is like it's the movie Tusk, but instead of like turning Justin Long into a walrus, Michael Parks makes him watch a really long YouTube playlist. Dude, you mentioned your Fiat. I love your Fiat. I loved your Fiat. I don't know.
Strong.
I don't. Oh, is it really? I don't know if you remember, but like, I think I can't remember if I did this on purpose or not. But like, you were getting ready to go out of town, and I think I waited until you were drunk to ask you if I could drive your Fiat while you were gone, and I got a big okay from Sean.
Oh my god! I wanted to bring this up,
buddy. I was a man about town in that Fiat. I was picking up girls. I was going on dates in your Fiat. There was one day when like all the film boys were over working on something and they wanted to go get Five Guys, and I was like, I'll drive you guys, and they all like started walking towards my car, and I was like, oh no, and I led them across the street to your Fiat, which was not big enough to carry all these boys, but we still...
This is a four-door, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a four-door Fiat 500L in hunter green, trekking model.
I was just like cruising around, taking people everywhere in that Fiat, and people were like, does Sean know you're driving his Fiat? And all I was like was, he said yes. I don't know if he knows, but I got the yes.
When I got home, I had a ticket.
Oh yeah,
because you parked it like on the wrong side of the street.
That's right.
For street cleaning, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. Because every now and then you're lucky enough to catch yourself saying something fucking stupid and like embarrassing. And I go up to you and I say, Nick, can I ask you a question? And you're like, yes. And I said, did you drive my Fiat when I was gone? Did you drive my Fiat while I was gone? And I was like, why didn't I just say my fucking car? This was a $15,000 car. This isn't like an Aston Martin. I was like, Nick, did you drive my Fiat while I was gone? And you didn't even laugh, but I caught myself and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry I said it that way. I hope you did drive it, honestly. I'm not paying this ticket. And I never did.
Yeah, you were so embarrassed that you referred to it as your Fiat that you were like, honestly, you're off the hook.
It's one of those things when I listen to this, I'm like waiting for the moment you tell that story, because I was like, I kind of hope he doesn't remember that.
I loved that car. I loved that car like it was mine, and I loved it for a week at a time.
You got to drive it every time we went out.
Dude, fucking every time. Yo, yeah, because you'd be drunk. I'd have to drive you home. But even, I remember there was a point where, like, we reached a point where you asked me to stop driving your Fiat, but I was still operating on the fact that you said yes the first time. I thought that I had, like, a technical yes. I could not stop driving that car, and I would tell girls that it was my car.
You show up to a date in Sean's clothes, in Sean's car.
That was why. I was so pissed when Sean moved out because I was like, my whole life just left. I was like, my identity,
all my belongings.
Well, he was even like, I mean, it was funny because, like, even like you were gone, you had left the state, and I think I still texted you to ask if I could have the fish that you left in the freezer.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up because I had some mahi in the fridge. You're like, yo, can I eat your mahi? I'm like, dude, even if I were to come back next week, yes, please eat it.
That was the only time I asked anything. It was the fish that you left.
No, you ask stuff all the time. Brendan, I don't know if you ever had to, like, if you ever borrowed anything but money from you, but, like, sometimes he would just take stuff, and other times he would text me. And he would text me enough that I couldn't really be bothered when he would just take my stuff.
Well, I needed nice clothes.
I really wish me, you, Brendan. I wish that house had one more room. Brendan had a room, and we could have all. That was, dude, seriously the most fun.
I didn't get enough of Boy's house when I moved out here.
Yeah, it ended kind of quick.
Yeah,
dude, you met, dude. There was a night, Sean so confidently put me in a Canadian tuxedo, and it was a way, like, when people, like, the outfit was laid out. And people were laughing at, like, seeing the outfit just on the couch. They were like, Nick, you're not going to wear a Canadian tuxedo. And he was like, Nick, put the Canadian tuxedo, put double denim on. And I put it on. Everybody was wowed. Everybody was like, you sold me on the double denim.
Yeah, it can be done. It can be done.
Totally, dude, it can absolutely be done.
I'm a big proponent of double denim. Crick, you sound, I feel like you would be a double denim guy. And I don't mean that in, like, the cheesy way.
I absolutely have been before.
Fuck yeah.
I just got a new pair of jeans, and I'm excited to start doing double denim again because I haven't had jeans that fit in a long time. I actually got new jeans from our new sponsor, who will start having ad reads for very soon.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah,
dude, I feel like we were just talking about when you were peeing, going back to Joshua Tree. We need that because we went on that trip because you guys were being fucking boys. And because I had just gotten dumped, I was very sad. You guys were fucking, hyping me up the entire time, buttering me up.
Oh, yeah.
That was a sick trip.
We were also buttering up Crick, where it kind of turned into, like, Bud, this is your fucking time. Like, we got to dance. We got to have fun. We danced. I wish we would have had, like, 2 more days because I feel like we were all really bonding.
You weren't done finding different versions of American Pie by Don McLean. You needed 2 more days so you could scour.
Sean, there's going to be like there's going to be a sweet spot where everybody's vaxxed, but the unemployment hasn't run out yet, and you need to come out during then so that we can all have, like, a week off in the desert.
Well, I remember,
I'm fully fucking vaxxed now, so I'm fucking ready.
The most fun for me was Sean was going through a breakup, and that house had a record player, and and we were getting drunk. You were going through a breakup, and it occurred to me, I was like, Sean, have you ever listened to Roy Orbison before? And that became it became the weekend of just, like, getting drunk and listening to Roy Orbison.
And Cat Scratch Fever.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, dude. Cat Scratch Fever, Ted Nugent, Cat Scratch Fever, and Roy Orbison's Crying. We just put that shit on. We were grilling, drinking. That was the ideal weekend.
Also, How the Gods Kill.
Yeah.
Danzig, we would listen to just Sistina's, though. The ballad. The Roy
Sistina's
Orbison ballad. It's a beautiful song about fucking a nun, I think. But
the live the live version of Sistina's, I think, from the Thrall EP is the way his voice sounds, because his voice usually sounds really bad live, Danzig, but the way it flutters when he hits the "and if you did" is just so fucking good.
God damn.
Danzig rules. That's a short king, 5'2".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been a great Wolverine. We talked about that an episode or two ago.
Yeah. Yeah, damn, dude.
Yeah.
So
I
just want to say it's great seeing you, Crick, because like I talk to Nick all the time, and I feel like me and you started texting each other a little bit after boys trip, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we talk about shit, and then the one that like you were asking me about like coding and stuff before you like sign up for school.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just telling you like my experience with it, and then
it was way harder than I thought.
But I texted you like a couple weeks later, or maybe like a week later, and I was like, "Yo, man, how's the computer stuff going?" And you're like, "Fine. Why?" And I was like, "Oh, all right."
Oh, I was? I'm sorry.
I was like, no, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to talk. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I would have responded to that because I love hearing from you. So,
dude, I love that because like I was like, I don't know if Brendan likes me. I think he likes me. I think
I like
friends,
you very much.
Like,
I got to look at what the hell I texted you.
I think sometimes, depending on when you catch Brendan, because I think Tom and I have talked about getting texts like that too, where like we text you and
I can text pretty formal, which is off-putting.
Well, it's also there's an air of suspicion. Like sometimes people will text you to check in on you, and you come at them like you're trying to suss out whether or not they're trying to like get you.
It looks like my response was you sent me a link to like Udemy. And I said, "Thanks, I'll check it out for sure."
I'm trying to remember, but there was. It might have been before that or something.
Uh-huh.
We might have talked since, but yeah, I literally said like, "Oh, how's the stuff going?" And you were just like, "Why?" I was like, "I don't know," because like you expressed a common interest, and I was just following up, seeing how you were doing.
Well, there was also like when Brendan was doing OMAD, he was doing 1 meal a day to lose weight.
Yeah, I did say why. Damn.
I chalked it up to just being like, that's just how Brendan talks. But like, there was like a little part of me that was just like,
damn, I'm sorry.
I might have crossed a boundary here.
That's rude as hell. I'm so sorry.
Dude, it's fine. I didn't think you were being rude. I was just like, maybe I'm just being like a little too, maybe I think we're better friends than we are.
I think that maybe Brendan, like, especially if you were feeling doubtful about it at the time Sean texted you, you were maybe like anticipating or like projecting criticism, and so you were like bracing yourself.
It also,
you know what I mean?
It looks like the response was you were asking if I was going to take classes, and I said like, oh, I was looking at this. Why? I think I meant it like, oh, like, do you think I should? But instead, I was just like, why are you texting me?
Right.
That's the problem with quarantine, man. But it's like boys, dude, when the boys are together, and this is a universal energy we were talking about. Like boys, it transcends gender, it transcends it all. It's a vibration in the universe, And when we're all together, when the boys are together, you get it. But boys trying to communicate over any other medium.
Well, I think it's text specifically because you throw a bunch of boys in a group chat where you can like react, emojis, GIFs. You're having a good time there,
right?
That's a wild time. But see, I don't see you guys have this group chat, and it's like what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like infamous. Like you guys, like Nick's been talking about this group chat since before the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very naughty chat.
It sounds, to put it very lightly, naughty.
It was naughty enough that we had to take it off Facebook.
Yeah, it's on like it's like double encrypted now. So you guys were on Signal for a while.
We were on Signal, but nobody wanted to use Signal.
Now it's on Discord.
It's on Discord now. But we lost some participants through the moves.
Yeah, dude, you don't want the NSA to see.
Yeah, well, Tim
moving
specifically.
To Signal.
Tim like refused to get off Facebook and like, I think what it was is that Nick does not have a phone number, so he can't use Signal.
Yeah,
I tried to get him on Clubhouse, but I can't invite him.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about missing out on Clubhouse,
dude. It's kind of like. I thought it was fucking stupid, and I was like really excited to get banned from it. But I'm like, this could be cool. Like you can do like a live pod on it.
Should there be a Coward Hour Clubhouse?
You should. That's what we're gonna try to do a Night Moves like on a Sunday. It's just, you know, you get like there's a lot of people on it, so they just like, if you put it in comedy, you'll have random fucking people show up and check it out. It's interesting. It's stupid, but
we had an app kind of, we got paid for it, but we were on an app kind of like that, like for one episode.
Oh yeah, their whole the entire business model seemed retarded. It was that you go on, you say like, I want to broadcast. It pairs you up with a random co-host, and then you both chat for like whoever happens to be viewing. But the whole hook is that they lip sync along memojis with you while you talk.
Right.
Oh Jesus!
And it was mainly. It seemed like the company was mainly just trying to like use it to sell that technology.
Yeah, I think they said like, yeah, we're just trying to sell the lip sync tech to Bumble. This is all horseshit.
No, this. It's cool because like you can like you two can, you know, fucking you guys like, it's your room, so you can do whatever you want, and you can like, if someone pops up, you can like call on them, and then they can join the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that seems dicey.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you can kick them on, you can kick them off, but
right.
Exactly. That's what's interesting about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so it can be like a call-in.
I feel like you guys could like do well on that. I would definitely listen to that.
Yeah, typical Coward Hour listener. We call on someone. They stop cutting themselves to turn their mic on.
They turn their mic on just so you can hear like blood hitting a bucket.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. Boys, I hate to draw this. Unfortunately, I work again now. I hate to draw this episode to a close, but I've got to get ready to get dressed and go into work.
All right.
Oh yeah, brother.
This was a good. We pulled like 2 hours here.
Yeah. We're at hour 55.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. I am sorry that I seem so cold in our text. Just know that I do consider us good friends.
Dude, you're the man.
And I couldn't think of a warmer way to reassure Sean.
I'm a soft bitch. Listen to my podcast.
Yes, listen to Night Moves.
Listen to Night Moves. Hell
it's not that good, but it'll get better.
And Sean, plug your Twitter, plug your Instagram, plug everything, dude.
Oh, follow me at Dr. Sean Preston on Twitter. Dr. Sean Preston on Instagram. Yeah, Night Moves is on all of the streaming platforms. You know?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Listen to Night Moves.
Thanks,
it's
guys.
fucking funny.
All right. See you, boys.
All right, guys.
You guys are my boys. Thank you.
Bye.
Knock, knock, open up, it's me, the crazy, shady, faded fucker, so rock the G. See you lady, make a baby, lead her on in peace. Only time I give a fuck is for my own release. That's why I own these streets. Straight up, portfolio showing growth, fuck a pay cut. Yeah, you know I stay slut. Catch me in the spot, looping up for the self-suck. Oh fuck, I busted already, I'm coming bucket so heavy. My dream of cream coming steady, now my mouth open, I'm ready. I'm talking solo, heavy petting on a Friday night. Not talking bashing the bishop, more like Nantucket's delight. I'm taking all the time I need to do it just right. Got my candles in the fishnets cause it's on tonight. Oh, that's right, it's time to fillet. No need to debate me. I suck until I go ooh-wee and spray my white pee-pee. I got that ski.